guys talking, man. You gotta relate to the people how you're feeling.
I mean, going into that deep, dark place of losing week 11, I was there. I was not good. Tom Brady put up 10, 12 points. I had Stephon Diggs on the bench. I couldn't get out. And it was just a dark, cold, horrible place. And that was the Week 11 Blues. And I know it was do or die, and I think I died on Sunday. Well, my team didn't do anything. So I literally died on Sunday. Had no points. Couldn't come back. There was no Monday factor for me. So that was it for me. I called it quits right there. And this is Fantasy Factory. We're going to give you good scoop ups, good waiver wire action. We're telling you who to trade. We're telling you who to grab. We're going to give you all angles of fantasy football that these guys don't do.
Fuck the waiver wire, buddy.
Okay.
That's the problem. You should have your team by now.
Yeah.
You should be able to look at your team. It is week 12 for fuck's sake. It is week 12. You should be able to look at your lineup that you have right now and have a starting team. If you don't have a starting team by week 12, what the fuck are you doing with yourself? What are you doing with your life?
Yeah.
You're putting your whole entire season out on the looking on the waiver wire to help resurrect your season? Are you kidding me? This is the playoffs that are coming up.
Playoffs are right around the corner. It's right there.
No, they're here. They're here. They're 13, 14, 15, some 16. They're here. It is upon us. We said it last week. Week 11 was do or die.
It was do or die. And either sank or swam.
Let me tell you something about the waiver wire. Who was the top waiver wire pick last week?
That'd be Brian Hill.
Brian Hill. How did he do?
Brian Hill didn't do anything.
He didn't do a goddamn fucking thing. He didn't do
nothing.
A thing.
He didn't do anything.
So what does that tell you?
So why pick him up? For what? To lose? Because that's what's going to happen.
Because if you're banking your entire season right now
on Brian Hill,
some jackass that you're going to find on the waiver wire in week 12, you got bigger problems than fantasy football. You got to look at the structure of your life.
Yeah.
This is a time by now that you should already know who you're starting. You should already be. We talked about it last week. We said it's chess or it's checkers. It's wolf or it's sheep. Which one are you? Because if you're right now, you're already looking at weeks 14, 15, 16. You're already saying who's the matchups going forward.
Yes.
And we talked about that.
And that's
I know we had a lot of listeners out there that weren't happy about the Brian Hill pick. But guess what? We know, all we know is what we were able to observe. We observed the week before that Brian Hill had a good amount of touches. And we figured he would have the same the next week, but guess what? He didn't.
No.
Sometimes that's just the way she blows.
And, yeah, against New Orleans, he had some numbers. And they weren't astronomical numbers, but they were numbers. 61 yards, a couple, a reception here, there. And then going against Carolina defense, is definitely a lot better defense than New Orleans, in my opinion. Now, for him to get 15 carries and go 30 yards.
Not in the run defense. New Orleans is right up there at the top of top run defenses in the whole entire NFL. So we figured to ourselves, okay, this guy put up a good stat line against one of the top rush defenses in the NFL. Hey, I feel kind of comfortable. You had Aaron Jones on a bye week. You had the Seahawks on maybe Chris Carson on a bye week. So, maybe you needed some answers or some fillers in that particular situation. So we suggested Brian Hill was the best in the waiver wire. But that doesn't mean that you should be relying on the waiver wire for your whole entire season.
No, and that's where a lot of people turn to when things aren't going their way. You have no other choice. Or if you've been saving your waiver up for all year to use it now because you got a couple weeks left where you got to just grab those guys going into the playoffs because of key injuries, it's worth a shot. But to bank your whole season on it, you shouldn't be there. You shouldn't be doing it.
No.
There's no reason.
And we talked about it. Like, you read too much into analysis and projections, and you read the captions next to the players' names, and you watch the NFL Network. It's just a temptation that you need to resist. You need to be able to hone and follow your intuition, because guess what? It's your team. It's not Johny Showtime. It's not Money Mondo's team. It's your team. You need to take responsibility for your lineup. You pick these guys for a reason. So why are you choosing now to bench them? There's a reason you traded for them. There's a reason you drafted them.
It's live real talk.
They could be beneficial for your team.
Fantasy Factor will get you there.
Now it comes down to the wire, and you're reading, okay, Stephon Diggs is going against Denver Broncos defense, and Denver Broncos defense only gives a certain amount of touchdowns a game, and it's a risky matchup. But guess what? He had over 100 yards and a touchdown. So by you listening to that projection and going against your intuition and your experience and your knowledge, you just put your damn season down the toilet.
On do or die. Yeah, I just definitely lost it all last week by making those errors. And you're your own worst enemy when you're making your picks. You have to know from your gut and just say, you know what, he's going to put up numbers, and that's just going to be that option that I have to roll with. And it has to make sense, you do have to break down some portion of it with injuries and whatnot, but you do have to know matchups. You do have to know defenses. You do have to know, are they going to excel and break those points, break those numbers, get you that big win? Because right now, if you're going on safe plays, that's okay. But if you want to go for the fences and get those numbers, because to get in the playoffs, if you're locked in and you need to have those points for to get in, you need to go and put those guys that are going to get you the home runs and get you those big numbers, because that's what's going to get you essentially into the playoffs at this point if you're locked up in your league, and it just makes it a lot tougher as to call it instead of a safe play.
Let me ask you a question. Are you okay with mediocrity? Are you okay with average? And it's okay if you are, because the average person is. The average American, the average person in the world is a loser. That's why casinos make so much money, because there's a bunch of losers coming in there. And they know the majority of people that walk in there are going to lose. So if you're chasing something as extravagant and such an accomplishment as a fantasy football championship,
yes,
you can't be mediocre. You can't listen to your average Joe Schmo for advice on what you need to do to propel your team to holding that championship belt or a trophy or ring or jacket or whatever the case may be. So you need to really dig down deep within yourself. You need to trust yourself, and you need to strive for greatness. Because I'm telling you what, you're in a 10-man league. You're in a 12-man league.
12's hard.
Whatever the case may be.
12 is hard.
9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 10 out of 12, 11 out of 12. They're all mediocre.
Yeah.
And you have this opportunity to separate yourself right now.
Going into week 12.
You haven't already. This is week 12. At this point, you need to think to yourself, championship. What am I going to do to obtain that championship?
Gotta get in there.
What am I going to do to climb that ladder and reach for that belt and grab it in a ladder match?
How are you going to climb? How are you going to get it?
Throwing people out of the ring. What are you going to do? Are you going to go trust the waiver wire? Or are you going to go with the team that you drafted? Are you going to follow your ambitions and write your own narrative and be the author of your own story? Or are you going to write somebody else's?
Because that's what happens.
Are you going to have the case of the Tuesday, the terrible Tuesdays or the Monday blues after Sunday where you've gotten your ass kicked and maybe you went to the bar or maybe you slept in all day or missed work because you're so damn depressed of the events that occurred from the ass kicking that you received on Sunday. We got a Thanksgiving special going on in a couple weeks.
Next week. It's here.
You could either be that man or woman who's watching those games on Thanksgiving, feeling good, eating turkey, drinking wine, cranberry sauce, and stuffing.
Oh, I love the stuffing.
Gravies, all that good stuff. It's going to feel a lot better if you're in a contention for a championship or you're in the playoffs during that Thanksgiving set of games.
It makes the turkey taste that much better.
Or you could be that loser that has no chance at holding that belt because he listened to some jackass on some ESPN Matthew Berry shit. Or maybe they watch NFL Live or the ESPN Fantasy Show. You're going to be that person. I want to be that person that's eating my turkey and stuffing and cravings and collard greens and all that.
Yum.
And I'm feeling good. I want to be that guy.
And I think everybody listening out there wants to be that guy. They want to go up for seconds. They want to be laughing and enjoying their time there, watching the games, knowing that they're clinched and they're already going into the playoffs. And there's not really a worry there. Now, to get there, you got to make moves. I know a lot of trade deadlines have passed or are coming up this week. So if you did plan on getting rid of one of your guys that might be, a 10-point to 15-point guy, this is the week that it's going down on the trade deadline. So if you did want to make some moves, now's the time to do it. That's going to make or break your team as well. But like I said, if you want those guys to get you those home runs and give you the 20-plus point games, right now is a good time to go and fish for them, or even just throw out an offer just to see if you can get them. That's definitely what a lot of teams should be doing when thinking about a good playoff run. You wanted to go ahead and make those moves. So, keep that on your radar and take a double look because, we covered the waiver wire. Waiver wire by now is just there's no meat left on that bone. Everybody's already picked it out.
Potato pie tastes a whole lot better when you're winning. I'm telling you what.
Yes.
Because you talked about coming for seconds. I'm eating leftovers. Everything tastes delicious when you're winning.
Good.
Everything is better when you're winning. So you got to find a way to win. And whatever you got to do to win, this is that time to activate that.
Yeah. And right now is the time to activate it and make it work. So if you've got to make those moves, I know Thursday night's game is going to be Colts-Texans, okay, for Week 12.
Talk about it.
I mean, you got 2 6-4 teams. They're both trying to find out who they are personally, and you have to know who's going to do what. Marlon Mack is out, so that's tough. Do you go with Hines? Do you roll the dice on that? I'm going to stay away from it. Houston, I mean, Duke Johnson's out there. There's Deshaun Watson didn't have a great game. He did horrible.
He's going to ball.
You're saying Deshaun's going to be tearing it up, or what's your take on that, Johnny?
Of course he's going to tear it up. But we're talking about an MVP candidate here. If you have Deshaun Watson in your lineup, you got to play him and everybody he's throwing the ball to.
Okay.
I mean, it's like I don't want to piggyback off last week, but I mean, these guys, it's their season too. And I'm telling you, you're talking about the Indianapolis going into the you said Marlon Mack is out.
So yeah, he's going to be out.
So that leaves that void in that Indianapolis rushing attack. We don't really know who it's going to be, but it's leaning towards Williams. And if you can somehow grab him, I was going to go for it. You know, there's going to be other guys in the mix, so honestly, I'd stay away from it. But we do know that Mack is going to be out for a couple weeks, and besides, Houston has a great rush defense.
Houston's okay.
They really do. They're one of the best. I mean, in the whole entire NFL.
Houston's good.
If there's some way that you could grab Jonathan Williams, man, I think he's going to be great.
Okay.
I think he's going to be good. So, hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Now, here's the thing that troubles me here is because Deshaun Watson just put up 6 points against Baltimore. Okay, so, I mean, 6 points as a fantasy owner, as your quarterback, that's going to put you in that deep, dark place that we don't like to go. I know you were expecting a little more out of him, and it just wasn't there. It didn't happen. If you're putting up 170 yards, you're just not there. He had one interception in that game. He had one fumble in that game. He was holding the ball like a loaf of bread. This is just a guy that was up against a tough defense, and Baltimore's that D right now that's playing phenomenal. But you are expecting more out of Deshaun Watson, and you're just, as an owner, you're not getting those points out of him right now. But in Week 7, he did put up 25 against them. So, I mean, it's tough.
You're talking about a Baltimore defense that has really found their identity, and they're one of the top defenses in the league. They're probably one of the, if not the hottest defense in the league right now, just in the past couple of weeks. They've really found themselves. We're coming up on December here. This is where they thrive. You know, Baltimore D's hard-hitting, hard-nosed philosophy, okay? So, yeah, it happened. Deshaun Watson had a bad game. It happens. Everybody has a bad game once in a while. But don't count on it to happen again. He's too special of a talent. And this is going to be a great game. I'm finally excited to have a great Thursday night game. I really am.
And yeah, I'm in the same boat with you there. I mean, last week Pittsburgh versus the Browns really wasn't a great game, other than Mason Rudolph getting cracked over the head with his own helmet at the end there. I mean, that was the only kind of spark that I saw out of that game that was entertaining. Mason Rudolph has horrible numbers there. I mean, if you're going to have, 4 interceptions and just no offense being produced over there, it was a tough game to watch. Baker Mayfield, if you watched last week, I did explain that with Kareem Hunt being back in the mix, that his numbers would go up a little bit, which they did. So if you do have him, he would be having as a safer play as maybe a bye week quarterback that you need to plug in. Baker is definitely one of those guys that you can count on to get you 20-plus points. So I would definitely say that's a safe play going into the following weeks as well. So
now at this point in the season, you have to figure it out. Okay, we're going against Miami. Okay, we're going against the Jets. Okay, we're going against the Giants. Like, these are games that you target. You're going against the Bengals. Like, these are guys that you play. And I don't go I don't bait my team off who their opponent is. I'm always a firm believer of take the player more than the opponent. So if I have a great player and he's going against a tough opponent, I'm still going to play the great player. But if they're going against teams like Cincinnati and Miami, like you got to play them, because they've shown you now. By now, you should have a temperature of how the whole season has went. It's already week 12, so you know who these teams are. They now have identity. It's not week 3 anymore. We're not in week 2. It is week 12. So you as a fantasy owner and you as somebody who watches football know how the teams are. And you should know what their identities are. And you should kind of be able to write the narrative here, because they put it out here for all of us to view, and it's been pretty consistent every single week.
Yeah, and it has.
Cincinnati, they've sucked from week 1 to week 11. So let me guess.
Haven't been doing much.
12, 13, 14, it's going to be the same situation, okay? Miami has been absolutely horrible against the past, from week 1, week 2, all the way through week 11. So it's not going to change at this point. So yes, go and target those teams. And let me tell you, it's going flat. We got to flatline this thing. We got to get out of here. We got Thanksgiving plans to make. We got playoffs to chase. We got championships to try and go and get. So we got to get out of here. And hopefully, Money Mondo and Johny Showtime gave you that burst of energy that you needed to get your head out of your ass.
Yes.
And write your own story. And
make it your own.
Don't listen to other people and analysis and projections and yada, yada, yada. You got to write your own story and create your own legacy. Go and get that championship on your own.
And make those trades, make those moves. You know, switch it up, shake it up. You know, you've been playing the same cards. It's not working for you. Shake it up. Don't look at the projections.
Like I'm shaking up the drinks in a mixing tin when I'm pouring those drinks.
It's week 12. You got nothing to lose.
You cannot play it safe. Take off that seatbelt. Accelerate the gas. It's now or never. If you're not dead already, this is the time, man. And if you are dying, you got to fight to the death. You got to fight for something greater than yourself. This has been a hell of a season, and it's only going to get juicier from here on out. So we're going to send you out of here. We hope we gave you everything you needed.
Week 12, bring the heat, guys. Go after it. You know, stick with your Drew Breeses. Stick with your Brady's. Brady didn't look too hot last week, but you know, you just got to go for it. Keep these guys in. Keep them plugged in. You're going to get those numbers. Just, you know, don't focus on these projections too much. Just go with your gut. This is Week 12, Gut Instinct, Fantasy Factory Live, bringing you some just helpful tips and tricks on how to get your playoff season going here, because we only got 1 week left of regular season, and then you go into your playoff run. So hopefully, if you're locked up in a tight league, deeper formats too, in a 12-man, 14, whatever, you have to make sure that you're going to bring the heat this week. So just go with that gut instinct, guys. We're not going to get too much more into this. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any other questions for us, go ahead. You can reach us at fantasyfactory2019@gmail.com. Again, that's fantasyfactory2019@gmail.com. This is Money Mondo and Johny Showtime saying sayonara. And hopefully next week you will be going up for the seconds and being the life of the party at your families and friends. Thank you. That's it, guys. Have a good week. Week 12. Let's go. Good luck.